Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of Earth Nouveau Hub. We have Melanie Kay here today, and we're talking about Gaia, Mother Earth,
Hmm.
and all of the changes going on.
Hmm.
Right. So I'll let you kick it off, Melanie.
Yeah. So just as I was just sharing a little bit, just to brief the people that haven't ever experienced any of my talks is, and in 2018, I was really guided to completely leave my life in San Francisco and go on this massive journey around the planet, working with the major grid lines and the major chakras, some of the minor chakras, and some other really significant points in the Earth grid. And I come to realize I didn't know it. When we're really in the zero point and we're really working and co-creating, we don't know what we're doing. I just want to be honest with anybody that says they know what they're doing. They're not being honest. We really don't know what we're doing, and that's actually part of the magic and the mystery is to surrender and to release and like really listen to what is influencing and impulsing you around you and specifically, if you're tapping into creator in an intentional way, you're going to be guided. You will be. You just will be. And that co-creation is going to be your highest joy. So when I was doing that work, the traveling and the going to these sacred sites and going to these places was my greatest joy. And then when I was being asked to do and sit and meditate and do all this clearing and unbinding work that I've come to realize I know how to do somehow, that's in my coda. I came in with that, didn't learn how to do that here. But I did a lot of unbinding. And so then I got back here and I've been integrating and processing all that work that I did. And um, it's tough. She's rebirth. I mean, she's going into she's birthing. She's birthing right now, like into the new geometry. So we were in a core geometry of the tetrahedron, the star tetrahedron, the six-pointed star, which has a 7 point in the center. And she's coming. So that was the primary geometry and the frequency that was emanating from the core of the planet that most people that are in any kind of a soul evolution process here are tapped into. And then because she is an ascension process, her core geometry is now shifting into a dodecahedron. We could have tapped into that and any time, especially with people that have the soul coda to do that aren't learning that for the first time here on the planet. That core geometry of the star tetra or the dodecahedron. That's a 12 pointed star with a 13 point in the middle. It, she's in it now. So there's a whole impulse for these grid workers, and I'm watching it happen everywhere to go activate the new points because there's points that are going to be that are the same. For example, Egypt doesn't change. She stays right there. I'm still learning. I'm still open. I'm still in discovery about where these new points are, but I'm watching and I'm witnessing some really incredible grid workers do what they're doing. There's a woman right now who's super high level who's reactivating Euphrates, in the Tigris River and points. I'm like, yes, please, thank you. There's I'm being called to Mount Kailash to do Kora again with at least there's at least eight grid workers that are high level star being Kodas that are going to activate Shambhala and drop those codes into the crown at Mount Kailash, the top of the world. So Shasta, what's happening here is I'm witnessing more than ever I've ever seen before the community coming together. Most people have always been doing their things off on their own. I have this center for soul evolution over here, and I have this thing over here, and I have this. Everybody being really like private and to themselves. And now I'm just seeing people coming together for, yeah, um, even my teachers, intern Omaran, they don't interact with the community and they're just opening their doors now to people that they wouldn't have before. So that's powerful because in the Shasta situation, why Shasta is such a magical mountain. Well, there's several reasons, but one is that she's holding the heart frequency of the root chakra line in the major ley lines of the planet. So these chakras of the planet are massive. Like they cover crazy amounts of ground. For example, the root chakra line in the major dragon ley line that goes around the planet here is goes from Mount Tamalpais, which is just north of San Francisco, and goes all the way up to Mount Rainier, which is in Washington State. And it opens up like a crown of, so there's like a fractal of the chakra body system inside of this major chakra. So
And just a side note, there was a storm of earthquakes on Mount Rainier this week.
this week, well,
Yeah, like yesterday. Yeah.
well, that's crazy. I felt rumbling all day long.
Hmm.
Yesterday, I was like, "Is that me? Is that the sound? Is that like I'm having a lot of a deeper, another layer of awakening right now." But that to the be to the side, yeah, that goes. So you have that. So Rainier would be the crown, which is why I feel connected and really it's time to go to Kailash because it's time like new codes are wanting to come in the crown chakra points on the planet where and there's many. So that would also be like more Machu Picchu Mountain, right? That's the crown chakra, third eye chakra of the sacral line where the Lake Titicaca is actually the sacral of the sacral, you know. And so Mount Shasta is the heart of the root.
Mhm.
So if we're thinking about that, and if we're generators from our heart, we generate our whole auric field from our heart. Is a powerful place to transmit. And it's also a powerful place to receive because the when Atlantis fell, there are 9 different crystal temples. They were powered by massive crystals. And 3 of them were etherically placed in when it was falling. They were etherically placed in the mines, the crystal caverns in Brazil, in Minas Gerais. It's the largest quartz crystal cavern in the world. The second largest is in Arkansas. So there's 3 of those master crystals etherically placed there. There's one that's still in the Bimini. You know all about that, Tanya.
Mhm.
Um, And there's the crystal, which got etherically placed here in Mount Shasta. So this mountain vibrates the frequency for 100 miles around it. So you can feel that as you're coming up from Redding and you're driving up the 5. You can just start feeling that increase, 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 and it gets to its heightened point. So to be to be in that all the time, um, to be in and out for a short time is transformational. People come up here for a weekend and they're changed. So I'm living here and trying to navigate that because you can't avoid anything. You're gonna get your shit put in your face right away. So navigating through some of that and watching other people navigate what they're navigating through, people are breaking through major codes, like major matrix locks, I'll call them. The stuff that's coming up around the underground sex trafficking, the things that are coming up to be purged, that dark stuff, all of that right now. It's getting cleaned out. It's getting cleared out because she's ready. She's here. I mean, it's here. She's already in the new geometry. She's just ready to express it on the surface. And so
Well,
that's
we had
what
that
we can do.
experience, in Lake Superior, like in the middle of Lake Superior on the solstice. And I know we all talked about this last week, but didn't record it. But I was seeing like major city of light energy anchoring.
Great.
Crystal City just coming down in the center of the lake in this dragon vortex, and all of the Sasquatch beings, the forest people singing around it.
Yeah.
It was just extraordinary, right, to hold the space for that. And I see that happening in San Francisco too, this city of light sort of grounding down in this energy portal. And it's interesting, Melanie, that you talk about this ley line. So Mount Rainier being in Seattle, Shasta being in
Rainier's
NorCal,
in, yeah, oh, yeah, go ahead.
like
Sorry.
outside of, so, and then you were saying Tamalpais is where?
The root of the root,
The root of the root, right?
Mount
So
Ham,
this,
just right north of San Francisco. So you
yeah.
have points in between, actually. Uh, Carbon is on that line. Um, and Crater Lake in Oregon is Throat. And is it Mount Hood, or that's the third eye? There's a there's a whole center there for
Mhm.
UFO sightings and stuff. It's kind of wild.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
So now Mount Kailash being, is that like the crown line?
the crown
The
line
crown of the crown line?
in Tibet. Yeah. hmm
And how do those points line up?
How do the points of Kailash? I actually think it goes through India, to be
Mhm.
honest. Um, yeah, because it would come out of Bali, like the whole Dragon Lake, the Dragon Line comes out of Bali from
Mhm.
Australia and goes up into India and through up into Kailash. So, um, yeah, I'm still working that one out, but I'm I'm fairly certain that it's Tamil Nadu down in southern India all the way up into Tibet.
Mhm.
There's a strong crown energy. I mean, there's a reason why India, you go there and you feel this Mama India, and you're just like, oh yeah, because it would be the lower chakras of the crown line. It's
Mhm.
like so spiritual, but then it's so polluted and it's so like mass populated. Like it doesn't look on the surface like it feels inside in the heart when
Mhm.
you're there.
Mhm.
It doesn't make like there's a cognitive dissonance that's going on from the external and the internal there right now.
Well, I mean, that's sort of what's going on everywhere, right? We're seeing this sort of like energetic division of all of these new codes and this higher frequency energy coming in, and then all of this lower frequency energy shifting and
Mhm.
shifting and shifting and shifting. It's almost like I was walking up these stairs on this walk I take, and in the middle of the stairs there was all of this like d- debris, right? Green debris, right? Leaves and like someone had cleaned out this little area, but
Mhm.
then moved all of this, you know, green waste onto the stairway, like
Mhm.
5 feet away from where they cleaned it out. And I
Mhm.
don't know, maybe they'll get a can, a green can and put it away. But I was like, that's really weird to clean here, but then just move it 5 feet away. Right. And I think that this sort of like mentality is sort of going on everywhere, right? Oh, I'm going to clean my side of the street, but then I'm going to put all the trash on the other side of the street for my neighbor to deal with. So I think it's interesting you're talking about community sort of rising because I'm sort of like seeing that just in my neighborhood
Good.
where like more people are just communing, right? Knowing each other.
Yeah.
One
And
of my
we have to start there, like closest to us, like the close get your actual neighbors. Like,
well, and these are the people we're dreaming with, right?
mm,
Who are close, our next
mm,
door neighbor. When you're
mhm,
sleeping, your head might be right near their head.
mhm,
Right. And so how is that? How are they affecting your dream time? How are you affecting their dream time?
mhm.
Right. In that community. I've been watching this TV show on one of the HGTV called Hometown Takeover. And it's where this couple who they're house flippers from a small town in Mississippi. But they worked with HGTV to do three different hometown takeovers. These hometowns, these small towns under 40,000 people, are rising back up, sort of becoming like the bread and butter of community, almost like a modeling energy in a way. And it's just fascinating watching this because this smart couple of house flippers community leaders who are making a difference in the community and will like renovate their home so they don't have to worry about all of the service work that they're doing. And then they'll go to different spots where people congregate. It's just basically like a small town cleanup. And I
Mm-hmm.
find this so fascinating and interesting with this energy that's going on, this sort of like new community building,
Mm-hmm.
because those simple little things that they've done, to like the main street in the community has like re-energized these small
Yeah.
towns. And I just love that. I love that story, and I love like the recognition of these sort of like service builders and community connectors that now, it's this sort of like pebble in the pond energy to me, where it starts in this one place and then it spreads and spreads, like the leaves of the sunflower that open and open.
And the other thing that's happening around that is that it's effortless. It's actually the people that are coming to offer the things that they're good at, that they want to offer, and that brings them joy. We're all doing that. And then it's like this crazy, huge pool of joy. It just like exponentially magnifies. There's a woman who's just like she's like ordering hundreds of pounds of cacao. And she's like the cacao distributor here in Shasta. She just gives cacao ecstatic dance, that's like her thing. And now she's holding ceremony for that. And that built her into this. And it's like all these people are just actually following their passion. And there's such there's a generational thing around that too. Like the generation that's younger than me, they kind of like got dealt a terrible hand, and so they're just like, we don't care. Like we don't care about this system and this BS over here. Like we're gonna do what we want because we got dealt this. But they kind of got dealt a great hand in that they get to do that because everyone that's doing that right now in that generation are having wild, wild success.
Mhm. Mhm.
If
Well, I
they're
think
sharing from their passion place, they're having like incredible success in return.
mm,
Yeah.
it sounds to me very much I don't know if I want to say beginning, but the integration of the new exchange system, moving out of the
Yeah.
monetary, fiat currency into the more galactic currency, which
Yeah.
is obviously filtering all the way into the planetary currency that is changing through the community exchange now. So,
That's right. And I'm even like getting like I have people that are just coming and helping me on my land right now.
mhm.
And they're just beloved human beings that I want to spend time with. This one man he's just in sacred service. He's like, that's just how I choose to live my life. I don't place myself in a situation that feel safe in. And when I feel safe and I feel energized by a project or something, I'll put my energy into it. And he lives that way. He, that's how he lives. And it's enough because he doesn't need for anything. But he has a lot.
Well, that's the thing. That's what coherence, what presence and coherence creates when you're aligned with your source,
Right.
architectural code of, mission, purpose. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm being called to be of service right now is to get people that are really longing for it to get into their soul purpose, to actually like clear the thing out that needs to get out of the way, or the mental thing that needs to get out of the way, or the heart thing that needs to get out of the way, or whatever that needs to get out of the way, the root chakra damage, whatever the family system did. Once that's out of the way, then you can actually listen and hear yourself, and hear your source through your filter, through your beingness, through your coherent body. So that's my mission right now is just helping as many people as I can cross that bridge because
Healing through reductionism, isn't it?
I like that language.
Mm.
I like that language. Yeah. yeah, get everything out of the way. Clear the blocks, clean the closet out.
Right, bringing us back to the nakedness of spirit.
Yeah,
Right. And that is like when you can clear the way. And I mean, I work with this every time I work with someone,
yeah,
right? And it's really funny to me how, people just keep tripping over themselves, right? It's like whatever's in the way, it's sometimes hard to clear out. But when you get that open channel with all the chakras open and you're in your crystal ball of light, your blueprint that and resonating with your source code light, then you're anchoring that energy wherever your boots are on the ground,
yeah.
right? And as we're standing strongly and firmly, then energy can come through, right? That higher frequency energy that you're meant to ground, or the truth of who you are. And
And I
just
think
that,
there was something that somebody said the other day that was cracking me up. It was like, this woman came up from the Bay Area as part of this book project that I was a part of. So wrote a chapter in a book about Mount Shasta called The Mystical Mountain. And anyways, I won't name this person, but Brad and I were like, oh my gosh, she's like the old new age. And we're like playing in the new age. Like what? There's a difference between how we were playing before when we were having to put so much effort in and we were slogging and climbing and there was just a lot of effort to awaken. And I think now again, just get out of your own way. Like it can be effortless, it can be ease, and that's actually the best way. Because if we're trying too hard or we're being the martyr or like we're trying to help too many people and we're depleting ourselves or we're falling into these traps, we're not helping anybody. It's the whole point right now is staying connected to source. And however you need to do that, whether that's sitting in meditation, for me, it's my Kundalini yoga practice and I teach it. I'm accountable. I'm responsible for my students. So that keeps me in my flow. I'm meditating. I have infrared sauna, which is blissful, but that's my responsibility right now to my part in the puzzle, you know, with my part in the fractal. We're all facets to this massive crystalline humanity body on the planet. And yeah, also knowing your Dharma. I think if you are working with the galactic calendar and just figuring out your galactic signature and studying that a little bit, playing with that and really embodying as your Dharma. For me, I'm a planetary storm. That's how I show up everywhere I go. And when I found that out, it was such a liberation for me because being a catalyst like that, coming in hot to a group situation, I'd often get a lot of resistance that people, but storms that people don't like storms sometimes. I love storms, obviously. I'm a storm, but people have a hard time because it moves a lot of stuff.
there's a lot of energy.
Moves a lot of energy.
Comes in and blows the old shit out.
Yeah, but that's what I
Anamete,
do,
do you have a
right?
question, Anamete?
Yeah, I wanted to share because it
Yeah.
resonates what you are talking about. I spent 3 weeks in Denmark and then I looked at houses to buy and I didn't really feel like anything came out of it. I was very resistant to go back at the airport. I was like, no, I don't want to go back. No, no, no. And then when I arrived in Geneva and I could just feel like the mother energy in France, it's just so there is not much mother energy in Denmark, but here it's just like, oh, come on.
Mhm.
Everything is nice, the weather is warm and everything. And then everything lined up because I have no home at the moment, like everything lined up. Every time I was out of places to go, I got to a new place. And then I got to a really like an end of the rope, and it was the day before. And I thought, okay, I better go see the plant sitter that had taken care of my plants.
Mm.
And then I came over there and he said, "Oh, I have inherited this house and now I have two gardens and it's too much." And I was like, "Okay, do I say anything or don't I?" I said, "Okay, what do you have to lose?" I said, "Listen, if you let me stay there, I can garden and I'll just stay there." He said, "Okay." And here I was. But the crazy thing is that where I am is how many years is that? 16 years ago, I dreamt at night that I was surfing at the under this mountain. I have this mountain behind here. It's my favorite mountain in the region. And
Mm.
I'm actually 15 kilometers from where I lived before.
Mm.
But it's as if now I am back into that place where I was meant to go in the first place, but I never found a house there. So it's crazy. And then I started gardening, and then one neighbor came and, "Oh, it's nice to see somebody in the house." And the other, he wanted to help me with the trailer, get all the thorn bushes away. And I was just like, okay. And it was just really fun. But then since yesterday, I feel like called to Denmark again. It's like a roller coaster. Like, where am I gonna be? Like, it's just like juke, 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 juke.
Definitely. I'm finding that so much that it's you have to take a lot of care with making plans right now because about 50% of those plans are going to change.
And
So
the
much.
energy for
Yeah.
something one day is really strong. And then it's like the rug gets ripped out. And that was it. You were just meant to hold that space for whatever that was and ground it and move on and not even question it or worry about it or say, oh, why didn't that work? I don't know why. I don't know why the energy just went away from that. But
And I
it's the
love
Yeah, but
way
it.
it
it's fun
is.
because I
Sorry, was it?
saw a house to buy in Denmark and now it's back on the carpet. It's still for sale and it says I'm starting like as if my brain goes there. I could put this there. I could put, but I don't know if it's guidance or if it's really like a calling or if it's me wanting safety. It's just crazy. It's like as exactly that you say, everything seems fine, and then from one day to another, boom, you're not meant to be there anymore. Like, okay, where am I gonna go now?
But the other thing that you were just mentioning, which is super, I feel very, I've been called to, and it's been amazing, is to be working with outside and working with elementals, because they're really responsive to us that are giving them attention and love and light.
Yeah.
So they are coming and they're helpers. I mean, they'll come and they'll create the magic around you if you're doing the activities that they are excited about you doing. Like
Yeah,
I'm
this
moving a
garden
lot of
hadn't
matter
been.
right now on my land, and then all of a sudden I had the impulse to like just throw. I got some clover seed, so I just threw clover all over because I was like, that would look so magical in this pine forest to have like a whole bed of clover. And it's just grow.
Oh.
It's in 3 days or less. It's like sprouting and growing out of the ground. And it's just like, what?
And
And
I'm
you're
then
going
more
to
digging
attract
through the
bees.
jungle here because it hasn't been taken care of for 5 years. So there are thorn bushes and Tarzan ropes and whatever. I feel like I'm in the jungle.
and you're attending to it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Hands in the
Yeah.
earth.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to create a lot of bee activity and butterfly activity with that clover there.
Yeah, definitely. We need our pollinators super healthy. Brad's got his garden. We're having to play a little dance right now with the squirrels that want to get in the garden. So they're digging. We're like blocking the holes. It's ridiculous.
I was
Um,
visiting in on my trip where I was in Superior. I was also in Minnesota and seeing my cousin who moved there a few years ago to Red Wing, and she's really big on helping to create community, especially around the pollinators,
mhm,
right? And so just the importance of creating this natural habitat for those pollinators, right? Working with the flying insects, right, that go through the air, but also working with the birds, the
mm,
songbirds need like each baby hawk needs about 40 different birds to grow to adulthood,
mm,
right? So if you multiply you start multiplying like how many bugs they eat and how many birds they eat and all of that, like creating that infrastructure that that starts from the ground up, right? Which is what all of us have been, doing energetically for years and years and years, whether we're aware of it or not, right? And just being that grounded energy. Yeah, there's a society called the Xerxes Society,
Mhm.
which works with uh, conscious awareness around pollinators. And I mean, this has been something, that's been a problem on the planet, right?
Yeah.
With all
The
of
health of
the
bees.
what
Yeah.
for many, many reasons, whether it be pesticides and herbicides or, 5G or who the hell knows what else. But there's something really important there to learn and hold as we're working with Earth as well. Like it's that celebration of the elements, but also all of that dancing within those elements and how we're collaborating with the bird community and the pollinator community and the animal community in a different way.
Mhm.
Yeah, I went up to a mountain today, the mountains up here. I haven't been to the mountains for 2.5 months. And I was like overjoyed because when you get up there, the field is just like buzzing with butterflies and bees and flowers and people. They're growing so many lawns and so many, everything is controlled, everything. I mean, the energy can't flow.
But and that's an amazing way to connect in and tap in is to connect in with these mountains because they are all waking up right now in such a powerful way and they're connecting with each other and we can help facilitate that by listening, by sitting and listening and being with the spirit of those mountains because there's definitely a spirit to every mountain. And you
Yeah.
can connect with it. There's a deva.
I call this one behind here the whale. It has like a whale energy. It's just such a long thing, like, and it's so steep when you have to go up there, but it's so it's my favorite mountain. It has always been like for 15 years I have been up there, down, up, down,
Mm.
everywhere. Like it's just crazy. And there's so many, I feel like the rock spirits are waking up.
Yes.
I was not really able to talk to them before, but lately they just like the rock that is talking to me. Like I came through a place today where there were like holes and I stopped. I could just feel the presence. Like there was a whole community of rock beings. It was just like, whoa.
Mhm. Well, and
Yeah.
that's another thing too, is like the reason why the geometry is shifting is the whole core of the planet is amplifying in vibration because of the solar streaming that's been happening, right? So we've been in this um, photon band, the alignment of the great central sun with our sun, and that's like, you know, storming our sun is expelling photon light energy, and some of it's getting bounced off by our field, some of it's getting absorbed as it normally would, but then a ton of it is getting pouring into the poles, which is what creates the northern lights or the borealis. But it also goes directly into the core of the planet and just goes boom, like gives it a charge. And every one of us on the planet are feeling that. Every species, we're just like little ants compared to what's going on here on this planet. I mean, we're like little tiny nothings. But at the same time, when we connect in with the source, we're like so powerful in what we can do, and especially when we do this work in community together. Now that I was doing this work so solo, and this Kailash trip is like you need 8 to 12. It was just a clear guidance, like 8 to 12 need to go on that trip because it's the work that we're going to do collectively to drop those codes in um, is going to be amplified by each other. Yeah,
Well, and amplified by the DNA resonance in the body.
nice.
This,
Yeah.
yeah, there's
What is the galactic calendar?
Oh, that Jose Arguelles, who has written a prolific amount of um, content on the Ascension and Earth's Ascension, who's now ascended his body. He remembered the Mayan calendar as it originally was, and then it got renamed the Dreamwave calendar. And then this couple who put it into a wall calendar that actually fits the whole. You can actually feel the spirals that go through this calendar, but it also connects it to the Gregorian calendar because we still haven't made the bridge out of that calendaring system, which is completely disharmonic to our body system. And is way part of the matrix. It's definitely one of the, in my opinion, getting that right and actually getting back to natural time, natural cycles of time, and tracking natural cycles of time, which most indigenous calendars are a 13 moon, 28-day calendar. That's standard across most indigenous populations. They already are tuned in because it's part of the natural harmonic and it's part of how nature unfolds. When you're attuned to nature, that's just normal. You track the moon cycles, you track the things that are happening planetarily around us. So when we get back into that and when we get it right, instead of this Vatican imposed BS, you know, where time is money instead of time is art and life and humanity
And cycles and flow.
and cycles and flow rather than some kind of boxed in structural thing that doesn't work. Yeah. That's so this you asked the question, what is the galactic calendar? It is the calendar that this couple who worked closely with Jose Arguelles before he passed away created. And it's an incredible resource. And I just think that's the deepest hack that people aren't understanding about how to like to get into an ascension pathway to jump and just work with this calendar, just be in the mystery of it and just see what it has to offer for you for a year. Just like do a 1 year push, like your life changes. It's like your synchronicities expound, like they're just, it's incredible. It was an incredible shift for me, so much that I teach it now. In fact, I have a class coming up online. Um, I'll have
And
to,
we actually have an Earth Nouveau recording that
oh, good.
is that we talked about it. I think it was what maybe a
Great.
year last year or 2 years
Yeah.
ago or something at the start of the galactic new year, which
Yeah.
is
Coming up.
July 26th. So we
Yeah.
have July 25th is the day out of time. And then July 26th will kick off the new 13 moon cycle.
28-day cycle.
Yeah, 28 day. So, when we look at those cycles, we look at like our 12-month cycle with random like 31 days and 30 days and only one planet that has 28 days,
Yeah.
right? But this is a cycle of each month is a 28-day month. So it actually follows those cycles of the moon. I dropped a link in the chat,
Thank you.
13moon.com, where you can actually go to their site now and order a calendar for this coming next year cycle.
Yes. And I will drop a link on um the course that I'm gonna do
Oh, great.
this next week because I'm going to re-record the course. I know you have it on Earth Nouveau, but I also distribute the calendars so you can get the course, the online course, and the calendar, so you can have it on replay.
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tanya, can I
what
ask
I
a
found.
question?
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Lana.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Hi, Melanie.
hi.
Hi. I wanted to ask you a question. You may have explained this already, and I'm not paying full attention, so forgive me. What exactly the purpose of going to Mount Kailash will you guys be doing over there?
The guidance so far was just that there's going to be 8 to 12 people who already understand and have been practicing and doing grid work, doing work with the crystalline grid, especially in the chiller. So there's now I understand that there's two different ways that people are working with the grids, and one is to lure like under the earth with the magnetic flows. And then there's another way people are working with the light grids above. And I just got tuned into that because there's this incredible Pleiadian grid worker that I met who is doing that way. And we literally sat in silence and exchanged information. Like our guides were just like, blah, 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 like just like, gotta like count that and get that, and I'll give you that. Yeah. So the vision is just that we're going to bring some of the Galactic Federation codes into the crown chakra of the planet because
So,
there's beings that have like, so for example, I understand my DNA. I have 32 strand DNA. That's just what I came in with. And that's not what everybody's working with. This is what I'm talking about. So like the two-stranded, like the physical 3D DNA going into a 12-stranded DNA corded etheric and 3D is the ascension process for an earth-based soul right now. Like that's their jam. But there's souls that came in to support the process, right? We've already done it. We've gone through the process. We've gone through probably another layer of the process and are holding a different amount of layers of frequency and geometries, if you will, if that's the right language to use. And so what I see us doing is dropping that down. And what I also see us doing, because there's quite a lot of, it's an overland tour. Like there's like 3 days of driving just to get there from Lhasa. So while we're going across those incredible, it's Shambhala, we're just going to be tuning in and waking.
So you'd be working at the base of the mountain.
So, and so at the Mount Kailash, no one climbs it. It's not
right.
It's it's a circumambulation. So we're going to do the Kora as well. We're going to walk the Kora, which is a 3-day trek.
So you walk around the mountain. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
So my other question was, it has been said that that's where Shiva resides.
Yeah.
Is there any feeling that you're having that is so?
It's very yes, and then but also it's completely Buddhist. Like there's just it's way more and that's what I notice about like experiencing India, Nepal, and Tibet, that there is this movement of Hinduism to Buddhism through that line, but they're all interrelated and they all work with each other.
Yeah.
They're not discordant. They're not oppositional at all.
Yeah, but Shiva was kind of before Buddhism started. So, and they're kind of saying that that's where he lives, sort of.
And I think that honestly, what I know about Hinduism and Buddhism is that Shiva is pretty much a Buddhist. Like he sat in meditation in the mountains. That's it's being in 0 point. Like that's the essence, in my opinion, of Buddhism, is just being in the pure presence.
But when you guys go there to do your ceremony, will you require, like, let's just say that is his home where he resides? Would you guys have or require permission from him, being that you'll be in the midst of his home, or the grid runs through the mountain or under the mountain or over the mountain or whatever, and since no one's really allowed to climb the mountain, I'm not sure what the reason behind that is. I mean, I saw a documentary a long time, but I don't remember what they had said. Would it be would you get an interference from doing so, or you need permission to do so? Or
I mean, I have a protocol.
These are questions.
I have protocols in how I do earth honoring ceremony work. and
Mm,
it's always all inclusive, it's always, there's always an asking of permission from all of the beings that are part of those experiences, so yes, the answer is yes.
mhm. So the question was, would you get an interference from him?
No, I mean, well, that would be curious if we did,
Yeah.
right? Because then we would have worked with that.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Mhm. So
Yeah, I saw
I'm
another
curious. Go.
documentary. I have one more question.
Yeah, yeah, go
I
ahead,
saw
Lana.
a documentary what Sadhguru had done when he had went to Mount Kailash, and he was there were, I think there's a lake there, like
Yeah,
a
Lake
two
Mansarovar.
different like a two different aspect of the lake,
Mm,
and he was saying that he was seeing like UFOs or something, or feeling the presence of other spirits there,
mm.
and I found that was kind of interesting.
Well, I think there's something about that. Thank you for naming that too,
Hmm.
because we're actually going to stay an extra night at Lake Mansarovar. And there may very well be orbs that are coming out of that lake, or working with that lake. I'm sure that mountain is a charging station. And now that
Hmm.
I have much more knowledge now than I did when I did the Cora when I was 39. So that would have been 2019. A lot has happened in 5 years. Um, and just being here in Shasta, and there's just so much going on in the fields. I mean, I've seen several orbs have come to the house. I've like danced with them. They're like light beings. You can see the sacred geometries in the orbs as they're rotating. They're just flying over the house. There's stuff going on in the air every night. Like you could just
Hmm.
lay out there and wait, and there'll be something. You'll see a ship. So,
So Mount Kailash, how would you identify Mount Kailash compared to other mountains such as Mount Shasta or Andes or Rockies, the big mountains? How
yeah,
would you identify what Mount Kailash actually represents on Earth?
she's
Do
a
you have
gate.
any
Well, I
idea?
mean, she's the crown. She's literally the crown. I'm saying
Uh-huh.
she, but it could be he, it could be they. Um, it's literally like the place you would pour things in. Like if you were to
Like
like,
like you would say the North Pole where um the aurora borealis and the particles would enter, right? Something like
yeah,
that you're saying, where
it's
but
yeah,
it's
it's
a
like
different
that.
way.
It's like that in a different way.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I see.
Yeah. Whereas like
Interesting.
Asengate is totally different. Mount Asengate in Peru.
Where's that? Oh, in
That's
Peru.
in
Okay.
the sacral chakra line. So it's like Lake Titicaca, and then you have Mount
Hmm.
Asengate, which is the heart of that sacral line. And
Yeah.
I mean, that mountain is just like a nurture. It's a whole nest. You want to just be in it. And there's hot springs around it. And it's just like, it's got that kind of offering, you know? Whereas Kailash is not that.
Yeah. Have
People
you
are
ever been
people
to?
that are doing the core of
Mhm.
Kailash are praying for the suffering of humanity, for the release of the suffering of humanity. It's so
Mhm.
moving. Because that's all I mean, that's the only reason people go. It's a pilgrimage mountain.
How would you compare those mountains with Mount Kilimanjaro?
Oh, that's it. Really interesting that you bring that up because when I was doing this project with a group
I'm
of,
led to ask that question right now. It just popped in my head.
well, I'm going to tell you just a personal thing about what that means to me because it's also been on my list, and that's a mountain that's waking up in a big, big way right now. That's got a really incredible divine masculine presence that's primal, and so that's on the. There's a lot to do. It's been on my radar for the last couple of years, but I haven't found the pathway there yet. The pathway hasn't shown itself. Um, and so each mountain and these big mountains that there's it's like they're having they're waking up, not only waking up, but they're getting activated and they are communicating with each other. So there's there's a woman right now, gosh, she should come on here. Um, her name is Jackie, and she carries a mesa of apus of mountains, and they're like she's having experiences where she's waking up and they're vibrating. Like those stones that are representative of apus are vibrating in the mesa. I don't know if you all know what a mesa is, but it's a Peruvian way of holding prayer medicine, and it's like an altar. So it's an altar in
I just
a
know of the mesa, the flat, high land. Right?
yeah. So it's an altar. It's an altar, and it's most people are it's a traveling altar, so it's wrapped.
To me, it feels like the mountains are like shedding, as if they are getting rid of the old grid that was around, as if there was like a net over the earth or something. And the
Yeah.
image I get is like they're shedding, like
Yes.
snakes. I don't know why that comes to
Yes.
my head.
I love that image. That is really, yeah, that resonates at some point.
Well, that's why AB had said a long time ago that that's why the mountains are melting the ice cap and the ice and stuff like
Oh
that.
my
It's
God.
melting away the old.
Yes. And this is reminding me too, because we did some work in Pluto's cave just recently with a couple really amazing light workers from Australia were here. And we were in the cave meditating, and Michael opened this whole, well, we all know that there's a lot of caves, there's a lot of systems, cave systems that lead to Mount Shasta and that lead to other, like there's a whole system, and he reckoned it with like arteries, and that I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And they were like emptied, and then they're filling up with they're filling up with plasma basically. So there's this like arterial awakening internally too. It's like this, I love the mountain shedding. And then you can think about like the life force energy now going through these actual cave systems that are connecting a lot of these mountains.
Well, and as above, so below,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like as that shedding is happening with Earth, right, in different places through her arteries and her veins and her energetic pathways, we're having the same thing with humanity,
Yeah.
right? We have a whole
Mm-hmm.
new crop of people who are waking up, and all of a sudden, like what's going on? I'm seeing
Yeah,
life differently than I ever did before, and that 9 to 5 job isn't working for me anymore. Right? I'm
exactly.
done running on the hamster wheel. Now I'm awakening into my Dharma, my purpose, my power, like maybe even, resolving some karma so I can get there. But
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
this is a major thing that's happening right now post-pandemic is, and with the influx of the light frequencies, is the shedding of the parasitic and the siphoning energies that have been happening for so long. So, that being removed too, literally people shaking us out and life force energy being freed up instead of being um, siphoned is major. I mean, it's a major thing. It's like it's the matrix. It's literally that's how people are stepping out, being able to step out so easily is because the vibration is allowing the parasite energy to be here anymore on the planet, and therefore in our bodies, and therefore in our operating the way we've been operating, to act that way, to get people to give you their energy or vice versa in some kind of nefarious way and not a benevolent way, because obviously there's been benevolent energy exchange. We do that all the time. That's what we're doing, but there's been so much negative energetic exchange, and that's not able to happen because of the frequencies, how the core of the planet is amplified in frequency. And
That
that's
really
special.
resonates with me, the parasite thing.
And it's popular now, right? You see it. It's like in pop media, like people are doing parasite cleanse. We hosted one online in May. And it was amazing.
Yeah, this is where I went today.
Oh, where's that though? Did you go see it? Was that a piece of artwork that you went to see? I can't tell.
Is that a
This is a
map?
rock.
We're having a hard time seeing it on the map.
Oh,
Is that a
I,
point on the on a map?
no, it's rock
Oh, a rock.
Oh.
Oh God.
with holes in it.
Am I looking at a map or like okay, thanks.
Oh, and there's so
Communicating
much
with the
This is
rock.
where I
information
went,
with the rocks right now too.
where it was so where it was so special.
Yeah.
Really sit with the rocks and sit and just, use a rock as a backrest and just merge. There's so much information coming through the stone right now too. I mean, can imagine like their contracts are like massive. They're like hundreds of thousands of years. They're like, we have stuff to share.
Yeah. They do. They're real chatty if you listen.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
But I have to step off, ladies, and
Well, it's
everybody
great to see
here at the
you.
Earth
So when are
Nouveau
you
Hub.
going? When are you going to Kailash? For anyone who
October.
feels guided to connect with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna be taking deposits in the next couple of weeks here, and then we're going October 6th through the 19th.
Right.
That's our tour. So
Great.
exciting.
Wouldn't it be colder during that time than going rather than going in now in the summertime?
They have a season. You can look it up online. There's
Yeah.
like but October, end of October is pretty much the last time. So we're going at the early state of October. It's less busy, less crowded,
Yeah.
and it's not crazy difference in temperature because you're in such high altitude. I mean, it's just warm during the day if the sun is out. And the sun is mostly out. Like it's cold at night.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, thanks for answering all my questions. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Great. Yeah. Nice to see you, Melanie.
Nice
definitely.
to see you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks for being here, huh?
Oh
Great.
my gosh. I feel like I need to come more often just to hear what you guys are jamming
Yeah.
about.
Just to jam out. Just
Yeah.
to jam, yama yama, yama yama, zama zama, blah 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 blah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank
Love you, dear.
do some good
Bye.
work at
you.
Mount Kailash when you get there.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Great. Wonderful. Well, thanks to Melanie for giving us a little dissonance on all of that. How's everyone else going with our own processes connecting to Earth and grounding our light codes?
Mhm.
And sometimes it's just sometimes it's just sitting still.
Yeah. And Tanya, are you going to join Melanie on her
I
trip?
haven't been guided to go.
Yeah.
I'm guided to really stay really in the South Pacific and those regions
Mm-hmm.
this fall. I think maybe we'll be going to Moorea and Bora Bora.
Okay.
Yeah. So being in that ring of fire with all of this new Lemurian rising energy. Plus, I
Mm-hmm.
don't like being cold, Martina.
Fair enough. Will that be around October as well?
I think maybe November.
November.
Are you doing the ISA journey
Yes,
in Mexico?
in Mexico.
What are your
So
dates for
I
that?
was wondering, yeah, the dates are 21st of October into November.
Mhm.
But equally, it doesn't really matter in terms of timing, but it's just interesting where we're all going to be and connect from there or look at the work that we're going to do there and how it is connected
Right.
planetary, galactically, and all of that. Because, I mean, there's obviously a reason why we're drawn to go to certain places
Exactly.
around the same sort of time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that triangulation
Yeah.
that happens with energetically resonant high frequency soul beings.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not a big planetary mapper in terms of geography, but I obviously am more interested in the DNA soul mapping. That's what I've always been more interested in. But it doesn't matter that you're still doing the work,
Hmm.
doing it consciously or not, So
Right.
yeah.
Well, and that's it, that's it. Like Melanie said, we're doing things that we're not aware of consciously, right? We
Ex-
might be consciously aware of certain things or certain aspects of whatever we're doing when we're boots on the ground, but there's so much happening that we're not in full awareness of.
Yeah.
Just being
And
able to
and
say,
also,
okay.
if I think of my trip to Mexico, my conscious intention is to just walk the earth and have some fun with it. So it's all about, for me, it's like, you use for today, you use the boots on the ground, and that's what it's really about at the end of the day,
Mhm,
once you've I think developed a certain level of awareness, it's not even an integration anymore, it just becomes joyful
mhm,
work to walk those sacred places. And that doesn't, for me personally, doesn't even have to be preparation or a certain intention. That's for me personally
mhm,
now,
mhm,
that, I'm not going there to activate any soul codes or anything. I'm just going there because I just know I have to be there. It's a level of knowingness for me, just to create experiencing is by walking
mhm,
on the ground.
mhm. Yeah, I resonate with that a lot, and this energy of like the little tap on the shoulder. Oh, you should go here now, right? Oh, okay. I what? I need to go where? Oh,
Exactly.
okay. Now I'm going to look into that and feel into it. And does it feel resonant? Does it not feel resonant? Is it, I mean, like think of Anamete going back and forth, right? Going around France, going back to Denmark, coming back to France. Like you're doing something by that traveling that you don't even know you're doing, girl. It's like there's something that's happening just by you being in your body and going back and forth, right?
What I feel really not disturbing, but I have cleared out so much trauma for 1 month now. Whole June was my whole wounded child coming up like, whoa. And I learned to dialogue, I learned to release, I learned not to escape. But what I'm still feeling, I have kind of a duality, like where should I go? Denmark or France? It's still like two parts of me. One part feel it belongs here, but another feel it's not aligned somehow. It's really still I had this thing coming in that go by that house, that red house that I saw yesterday evening, and I was so centered. But then I'm like, but how can I know it's guidance? How can I know that it's not like me wanting security or it feels so confusing at the moment because I feel like there's one part of me that is Danish and another is French, or I feel split in two, and I haven't found the center of that to make to feel into the a choice that is neutral, so to say, that is not colored by one or the other. So it's really kind of confusing, like,
Well, maybe because you're still weaving them together. Maybe there was something that was fractured and split in that land energy that you're going back and forth and weaving that back together. And until that weaving happens, you're not going to feel that
that,
integration of sorts.
yeah,
I don't
that
know. That's
talks
just what
to
I
me.
see when I look at it.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. But I was just wondering why all of a sudden last night I felt like I should buy this house and I should really get my stuff together here and throw things out. And where did that come from? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Well, just
yeah,
sit with it, be with it, and you'll know
I'm
when it's
still
right
not
and when it's not.
really in confidence with my guidance when it comes from a certain place in me. When it comes when have no mental on it, when I have no nothing, then it's easy. Just like, oh,
Thanks,
I
Lana.
want to do it.
Good to
What?
see you today. Oh, Lana's leaving.
Oh,
You just
bye,
say hi.
Lana.
Thank you,
Hi,
Lana.
let's see you guys.
Great.
Bye.
See you next week. Thank you.
And I still feel like there's so many highways to navigate on, and which one, sometimes I feel I'm going like this on that one, and then all of a sudden if that goes too far and like, oh no, I don't go further down that, then I go to another one. It's like so many highways and so many layers and dimensions. I really find it difficult to navigate in it. It
Well,
seems like
and I
there's
think
no
that's it, right?
logic. There's no
That
logic.
that awareness is coming in a way that we can allow it to be confusing, or we can just say, I don't understand. It's okay for me not to understand, but I'm going to listen anyway. And if I have to walk all that way and then come back or drive all down that path and then come back, that's okay. I might not understand the why of it, but I'm feeling guided. And there's this, I don't know, this weaving of energy that's happening where the old is clearing out and dropping away, and then the new is coming into anchor. And we don't know, we're just like the human boots on the ground. And I love what you were saying, Martina, is like if you can just like be in the joy of walking the earth, right? I think the best work happens when we're in that joy of walking. I got this Facebook message earlier right before we came on from one of my clients, and we've had a lot of like different lifetimes together and are really energetically resonant with the land work. And I said, "Oh, you should join us. We're talking about all this, earth stuff." And she's like, "I can't. I'm traveling. I'm boots on the ground." I'm like, "Well, that's exactly what we're talking about today. So, of course you're boots on the ground somewhere. I love you. More power to you. Thanks for your great work by just being like standing in awareness of yourself as a being of light in a human body. And that grounds down and anchors in, and then the pebble ripples outwards. Right. It's
Yeah,
exciting.
I have never done so much gardening, and it just feels so good. And
Mhm.
my daughter, she came here, she was like, Mom, this place is vibrating like crazy.
Mm.
But I don't know how you'll survive in the house. She doesn't like the house. It's really weird. It's like being in a museum from the 60s. Like
Mm.
I'm like in the 60s. That everything is old. It's just like, okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's kind of fun.
You just need to put on your mini skirt and so do a
Yeah,
little dance.
yeah, but it's really fun because it's everything is brown, and it's just, in my opinion, everything is ugly. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's a fun adventure, I should
Yeah.
say.
So I just want to say hi to Claire. We haven't seen Claire come on yet. So I don't know, Claire, if you have anything that you'd like to share, but you're welcome to, if you'd like to.
Hi, I'm actually at work.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
I've been watching you all for a long time. I haven't seen any of the shows for a while. I live in the United States in Florida, and I love your work. And I still work full time. I'm in a relationship, so I'm still pretty in the world kind of thing. But I've been studying metaphysics my whole life, actually, and doing Andrew's work and Martina's work for a while. So I'm still in the middle of changes, but I've always wanted to come on and just listen. And in the future, I want to try to participate more too. My employer's away at the moment. I work for an oral surgeon.
Okay.
So, but listening to you is bringing me back to things I haven't touched on in a long time. As
Mhm.
far as um, yeah, I'll show you who I am.
Oh, great.
I'm at my
Hi, nice to
office.
see you.
Um, I used to, spend a lot more time in the metaphysical world and what you all are talking about and grid work and the earth, and I haven't done it in so long because I've just been doing other things. So I love hearing about it. It's bringing me back. I
Mhm.
kind of do it naturally anyways at work when I'm here with people and I work with people and contracts all day long. Um, I do energy work all the time. I came to realize that without even really being aware of it. So I've been dealing with a lot of that over the years. So um, I just wanted to say hi.
Hi, I'm glad
I
you
hope to
did.
come back on,
Where in Florida are you located?
in Plantation near Fort Lauderdale. Near
Okay.
Fort Lauderdale. Yeah.
All right. So that's a
Yeah.
major grid line, right there that
Yes.
And a
and I can
Stargate area.
it's kind
Yeah.
of a strange area too, but it's a beautiful area. The old energy here, the plants, the animals, it's just pretty amazing. Busy, it's busy and loud, but I can feel as I transition from city to city, like certain cities don't have great energy. Fort Lauderdale's pretty nice. Fort Lauderdale's pretty nice.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
it's a major grid point. Is that what you said?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
actually a Stargate right around that area. Closer to Siesta
Oh.
Key, but very
Oh
close.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I do have my telescope,
Mhm,
but that's
mhm.
that's another thing. Oh, that's interesting.
So you are boots on the ground, in
Are
that
I
you?
area.
I think so a lot. Yeah, I am.
Do you
Even if you're
work?
not out doing it with other people, you're still doing, it's important to me. I used to tell Andrew, even though I'm still working, I used to think I was missing out. I should be doing healing work and working with people, but I'm doing it here anyways, working with people all day long. So it's still, no matter what you do in life, you're still doing your work, I think.
Absolutely.
I was just about to say that. Do you get to meet lots of people from different places?
Yes,
Yeah. So,
yes.
this is another form of grid working. So
Oh,
I'm not a strong grid liner like Tanya is or
mhm.
Melanie is, they're going to places and being very aware.
Yes.
But I put myself into places where there is multicultural environment, and just by talking to the people, that's my kind of grid working.
Yes, and you do. I see a lot of your Facebook and I love it. You're right. I meet people for the
Okay.
last 40 years, yeah, all over the world, and they come in and you're touching them and talking to them, whether you're doing work in the surgery or you're at the front, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
because
think.
they come in with the codes, and initially I
Hmm.
was thinking, okay, well, it's an exchange of codes, but there's more to that. I'm realizing that with the paintings now, as they're
Hmm.
being bought by people, I have this real sense of they're creating a grid line, literally a
Oh,
line of healing of, whatever coding they have at the time
I
to the
see.
particular places. And of
Hmm.
course, if you live in a country like Austria, then there's not much of an opportunity to meet international people. But here it's like this one is going to France, the other one is going to.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to Scotland in 2 weeks, I think. My boyfriend's from Glasgow, so I'll be there for a couple of weeks. And the
And
Isle of Skye, so I can't wait to feel that out. You
yeah,
know,
very strong
that's,
energy there. Yeah.
yeah. But thank you. It was nice speaking to you finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would also say one thing just before we closing or whatever we're doing. I've been doing a lot of work with the hard discs and the solar discs. And
Mm,
they are obviously, especially the solar discs, we know they are interlinking with all those places, right? So, like Mount Kailash is obviously interlinking. There's a solar disk there, literally. All
okay.
the places that we're drawn to.
Hmm.
And doing that, we're starting to activate the solar disk grid. And every
Okay.
disk then is linked to a hard disk. So we're also starting to activate that.
Oh, that's a wonderful thought because
Dharma,
I can't put things into words like Andrew or you, I've been feeling things my whole life. I know a lot and things come up. I'm still dealing with other lessons and things like that in my life, but um, being able to put it into words the way you all do, it resonates so much when I hear you talk. It's like, yeah, exactly. And now somebody's putting into words what I feel, and
yeah,
things that I've been doing. So thank
yeah.
you.
Well,
Yeah.
you're probably a field stabilizer like me as well. So, and then it's not, some soul architectures are not to actually download information because I've
Hmm.
dealt with that for a long time. I was
Yep.
frustrated. Why am I not having downloads like other people, right?
Yes.
And I'm not supposed to have down because I'm literally the embodiment of boots on the bloody ground.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I
I
get
am the
downloads for
body.
myself, but not, you're right. I always say people meditate and go on these trips. I'm like, I don't really do that, but I feel everything here and I
Yeah.
feel it when I'm with people. Yeah. That's a
But
very good way of
you're
looking at
creating probably that resonance field.
it.
And as
Hmm.
soon as somebody said that has been my experience. As soon as somebody says something, like when Tanya talks about, her experiencing about, I'm like, okay, yeah, get that, get that, get that. But I wouldn't have come up with it myself because I've,
Yes.
things to do. So, it's very important.
Okay. But your artwork does, I could say.
Yeah, it does its
Speaks a
own
lot.
thing.
It does. It does.
But
Oh,
Claire,
thank
I
you.
also think it's the way you handle, for example, paper. Like, I don't know if you hand paperwork over, or
I
it's
do.
the way you give things. It's the way you don't just give the paper. You give your energy
Oh,
signature.
yes.
And I think that's really the most important thing. It's the energy signature that you give to somebody else or
That is,
share.
yep, very, very true. I've talked to patients my whole life, touched everything, and I don't know. I can just tell and feel I make a huge difference all the time. All the
Yeah.
time. That's very good, very true.
Yeah. So as you deepen into that awareness, right, it's like own now you own it.
Yeah.
You know it, now you own it.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I felt so bad having to work. I was a single mom and I thought, oh, I want to do all the grid work. I want to do all the healing. But then I thought, I'm doing this all the time,
Mhm.
So people who out there who are still doing 9 to 5, you're still doing your work. You just have to be aware of it, and it makes it a lot better, you know.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well,
Thanks,
thanks
That,
for
guys.
thanks for tuning in today.
Sure. I want to try it again. I've been wanting to for so long, and
Great.
because I love the shows, so it's very helpful all the
Oh,
time.
yay. I'm so glad to hear that.
They're very helpful. When you guys start talking and you come up with all these ideas and you know, that's how my mind works every day. I remember Martina telling Andrew all the time, she loves this. She loves this because that's where my mind's always been there. Okay, what do I need to do? How do I improve? What do I do? How do I help? Or I don't know. It's just on a different level. So I don't connect with other people so well a lot of times. But I do connect with this, all your shows. So I love it. I love it.
because you
Thanks for
see, the thing
sharing
is,
that.
not everyone is supposed to connect to people, not even to the planet that much, because lots of us are actually cosmic, galactic, what's the word?
Huh.
Connectors.
Mhm.
Okay, that makes sense for me.
So, I mean, there's an understanding of the being grounded, boots on the ground, planetary work, and all of that. But you do all that just by actually literally working with people. The rest might be quite galactic in its nature, because this is where we're going now as well, whilst we're all, anchoring the earth into the new frequency at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
we're actually starting to create a new cosmic grid system.
That makes a lot of sense because I
Yeah,
feel like I'm finally growing into my soul now. Like I've spent years banging my head against the wall, what am I doing wrong? But all this stuff, why don't I fit in? But now things have gotten easier. It's hard to
exactly.
explain. Like I have a big understanding of the big overall picture of everything. And I can't talk to anyone hardly about that. But
Yeah.
so now it feels like I'm growing into my soul, or maybe the times are catching up to my soul. I should think of it that way.
Well,
Yeah.
exactly.
I think
Your
that's a good
soul,
way to think of it. The times are
absolutely.
catching up to you.
Your soul signature that's now coming in. Basically, your job has only started.
Mhm.
Good. I'm
Everything else was
63.
just a bit, well,
Jeez.
exactly. Everything else was just a bit of fun, bit of prep, bit of karmic resolution. But now the real shit is going
That's
down.
how yes, now I'm ready. I'm at a precipice. I'm walking away from a relationship. I'm like, all right, enough of this crap. I've been playing around for too long. Enough
Yeah.
of this crap. I'm done. I'm ready. Okay,
Well,
very
it
good.
just, it's like the time for things, living with things that don't resonate is just over, I think.
It's scary a little for me, but because that's what I'm working through the last few little bits. I'm not complaining, but all the Andrew's work and getting rid of all the old childhood junk, that you're afraid of and all that stuff. I'm right at the very edge of that too. And I'm old. I'm 63 to be even doing that kind of work still. It should be done already. But
Mhm.
it's doesn't really matter, I guess, with age, but you're stepping off onto a whole different place now. So
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
fun.
maybe the timing just wasn't right for you to step into your Dharma quite yet. So
Correct.
you had plenty of time to work on the rest of the stuff.
I did. I did.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Very nice. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Well, thanks everyone. I think unless there's anything else anyone has in their pocket.
No, I think that's great. It was really good to see Melanie again and now meet.
Yeah.
Right. And lovely. Thanks for organizing it,
Yeah,
Tanya.
absolutely. So today is in the 13 moon calendar, in the galactic calendar, is the electric hand, guided by accomplishment. So the hand, right? It's the healing, it's the touching, it's the handing over. But the electricity, the electric energy is the divine masculine energy. So I just wonder for a hot second what's being handed over, right? What is the divine masculine handing over to the divine feminine now? And maybe it is these electromagnetic grids that are dropping out. That star tetrahedron is dropping out in the geometry of the dodecahedron, coming in, that even surpassing the divine masculine, divine feminine, coming back to that unity place. And so sodalite is also the crystal card that came up for our group today. And that has to do with new vision. So what I would invite all of us to just ask what new is coming in for us. We'll leave it at that.
Exciting.
Great. Well, have a great week. Thank you all.
Very much,
Thank
guys.
you.
See you the next time.
It was really nice. I enjoyed
Bye,
it.
Annette.
Yeah.
Very
Bye-bye.
nice. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.